a CA is saying that he got flunked in class 12 in accountancy subject. That is the mainstream subject. So
Yeah.
is it something like your passion to CA was really a passion or a societal pressure to you that you need to pursue CA? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another series of podcast. I am Chandan Palwar from Grow Junction. I welcome you all to a gonna be insightful, finance-focused podcast. Today, this particular podcast is again powered by Grow Junction. Today, we have one of the eminent personalities with us, CA Varun Singhania. Yes, so he has completed his chartered accountancy course in the May 2015 year, prior to which he completed his BCom honors in 2013. He would best describe himself as an astute professional committed to bringing the best to whatever he do. He is particularly interested in exploring the financial services sector, which currently holds a lot of potential for a professional accountant like himself and others. Now let's unite together and have him on board with us for an insightful finance focused conversation. And I'm sure this could be the very first podcast opportunity for me to have, to be a host to a CA chartered accountant, Mr. Varun Singhania. Hi, sir.
Hi, Chandan. Thanks for the warm welcome and the kind words. Really appreciate.
I although prepared all of these lines from your LinkedIn profile. I am sorry if I missed, few of the elements from your LinkedIn profile that you were waiting for me just to reply on that. So before, I'm sure that I must have missed upon, many of the things, many of your achievements, many of your failures. So the best way to, explain yourself is, explaining your own self. So can you please introduce to our lovely audience?
Okay. So, as Chandan was rightly pointing out, guys, I'm a chartered accountant. But this chartered accountant who's speaking to you failed his accounts exam in 12th. That was the first accounts exam in 12th that I failed. I actually flunked miserably, scored below 20 out of 100. When I look back at the report card and I see myself around 12 years after that, I really am really a little astounded as to how far people come in their lives and what journey people go through at times, and how it transforms you into a different personality from what you say you were 10 years ago. And I just try to maintain that, I don't fail that little guy who had some expectations and some aspirations 10 years ago. And I can look up to him and say that, we kind of did it. Right. But yes, still a lot more to go. But thanks for thanks for the very nice introduction. That LinkedIn profile that you're talking about is actually ripped off from previously made CVs. So that's really generic.
Okay.
How I would describe myself is really a fun-loving guy who talks a little too much, and who is, just loves doing what he's doing. And if you are not doing that, then you are in the wrong space in your life. Having said that, you need to get a little crammed out of what you're doing, because then you will not have room to grow. So I always keep reminding myself that no, this is I need to do something more than what I'm doing right now. And that's how I look at life, and that's how I look at my profession as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I think that's great, to hear about you. So while you're saying that, you flunked in an accountancy exam in the class 12. So meanwhile, I just got paused in a while because, a CA is saying that he got flunked in class 12 in accountancy subject. That is the mainstream subject. So
Yeah.
is it something like your passion to CA was really a passion or a societal pressure to you that you need to pursue CA?
That's really hitting where it hits. It was a societal pressure as well. When I see myself coming from a background which is mostly a business background, or background of people who have always been involved in some sort of trading activity, you don't find yourself going into anything else apart from commerce, right?
Okay.
I always wanted to do science. I always wanted to be a theoretical physicist. I still watch a lot of videos on how quantum theory works.
Okay.
I have a fair idea of what quarks and what atoms are made of, what string theory is. I still have an inclination towards that. But as life turns out, I am a chartered accountant today because of there was some peer pressure, there was some societal pressure, and then there was some interest too. Because if you don't have interest in something, you cannot pursue that for 5 long years, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
so yes, it's a fair combination of both. But
Okay.
my inclination has always been towards
I
finding
think,
something, learning new
yeah,
thing.
I think that has already, worked in your case itself, because, societal pressure is also something, is also, good motivation kind of thing, that, okay, now you have at least a sense of clarity in your mind, because having a pressure on from your parents or your society is something that, and also if the interest lies into that particular domain. So I think that works actually in a positive direction. Well,
Right.
that's great. Right. So, do you want to speak? I'm sure that there must be challenges or failures that everyone accounts to in his or her life,
Mhm.
at least for one time. So,
Mhm.
what could be the biggest, or the disastrous failure in your life, and what were the learnings that you actually availed from those challenges?
Well, I just don't have one failure.
Yeah.
I've had multitude of failures,
Okay.
and 10 years into this thing, you just can't point and say that this one failure shaped me.
Yeah, so let me
Um,
clear. Yeah, let me recorrect myself. So, one of the latest failure that you just encountered with?
um, well, latest failure. Um, there was no failure as such. I would not term these stepping stones as failures. You learn new things every day.
Right.
Failure is a very strong word. Failure is the result of how you find yourself in a particular situation.
Okay.
Um, how I how I look at these experiences, these learnings as how you can improve yourself, how you can better yourself. So
Okay.
if I go back a few years, when I was leaving GS, I made a few errors when I was finalizing the accounts, and sort of came around that. We sort of corrected those. But I remember my VP telling me these golden words that Varun, I have made more errors and mistakes than the entire floor of these 360 people combined in my life.
Okay.
Um, but you should not bog yourself down whenever you commit mistakes and commit errors. You should really see why you're committing those errors and try to not repeat those errors and mistakes. So yes, I have failed multitude number of times, but I have not branded myself as such. I've always come out learning something new, and not not trying and trying not to repeat those mistakes that I committed. So
Right.
that's how I looked. And recently, you can say the thing that I've learned is people management. Um,
Okay.
Sometimes communication fails, and misunderstandings develop, and you have to go around, talk to people, sort it out, and have things cleared in each other's minds, have the expectations sorted. So I think that was not a failure because I didn't stop there.
Yeah.
I kept
Right.
moving forward. I kept learning, and I
Right.
tried to figure it out. So
Right.
that was my recent learning.
Very well explanation. So I think the people management that you just mentioned is something, an utmost significant quality that every person should possess, because nowadays, having like any business or any job, any services you do, requires the people, how you manage the people under you, your subordinates, over you, your superiors. So I think very well said. So I think the learnings that you got availed from the recent challenges that you face in life must
Mhm.
be beneficial for you or for over the very years. Well,
Yep.
yeah. So now moving forward, so can we know like what are the roles and responsibilities of a chartered accountant?
Hmm. Well, you've asked a very broad-based question, I would say. And in terms of roles and responsibilities of a chartered accountant, we are kind of. Um, I'll give you one example. It's
Sure.
very recent. Our Prime Minister once quoted that his signature would not matter more than the signature of a qualified or practicing chartered accountant, and that I think summarizes how important a
Chartered
signature or
accountant.
the presence of a CA is.
Right.
So in terms of roles and responsibilities, we have a lot to do and a lot to contribute to the society. But when it comes to the organization that you work in, if you look at the the papers that we give in chartered accountancy, in the final exam, you have 8 papers,
Okay.
and they are seemingly unrelated to each other.
Okay.
You have direct tax, you have indirect, you have accountancy, auditing,
Right.
corporate law, financial management, etc. You have costing. I tend to look at these papers as stepping stones towards qualifying to what you would be doing in your coming years, because nobody would be doing everything at once unless they are practicing chartered accountants. If you are going into an organization and you are serving that organization in a particular capacity, you would just be following one of these 8 papers in specific. Um, from my perspective, from my experience, it's always been about accounting. Well, I
Okay.
started with basic stuff, passing journal entries,
Okay.
looking at various variances, identifying if those variances are correct, reaching out to people who can justify those variances, and then accordingly make adjustments. That was my basic responsibility. When I came to
Right.
JP Morgan, it did not really change much. But in terms of the cadence of reporting, I was into monthly and quarterly reporting earlier, and I shifted to daily reporting.
Okay.
So the idea, the analytical skills remain the same. That is what you should imbibe yourself with. Um, you should be able to catch hold of data quality issues or untoward variances. You should keep questioning whoever is sending you the data to
Right.
identify that, what exactly is happening. If I see a few billions of variances, a few millions of variances, what exactly is that? Is that a new deal? Is that something that should be looked after? So that kind of analytical bent of mind is what is required in a chartered accountant today in terms of everything that we do. So
Perfect.
that's one way of looking at it.
Okay, that's right. I think listening to you very carefully, I think I got my interest into these things. I'm sure, but having said in mind that people who pursue to be a chartered accountant, just pursue the chartered accountant journey like for like more than 7, 8 years, 9 years. So we know like CAs who are currently for focusing on to be a chartered accountant, but yet have to follow, have to process from the lot of struggles and lot of challenges to clear their particular examinations and everything. So like if a particular CA is watching you currently right now, and what particular advice do you want to give to that CA if he or she might be flunking in examinations for the CA? So what could be the possible best advice as per you?
Um, I would just say this one thing: it's not a race. Okay, there is no race. There is no competition.
Okay.
You are not looking to outdo anyone. You are not looking to outdo yourself. You're just looking to make yourself a better version each and every day. Um, After a few years down the line, say your career span is about, say, 40 years, right? 30 to 40 years. How many times you failed, how many times you flunked is going to be a thing of past anyway. People are going to look at what you are doing today rather than what you did, right? Um, when I would go for an interview right now, when I take interviews, I do not really look at how many attempts this person has taken to qualify as a chartered accountant.
Okay.
It's a qualification after all, right? It's not a university exam. It's a qualification,
Okay.
and you need to have certain set of skills. You need to answer a few questions. You need to be on top of a game to qualify as a CA. So there is no race. There is no benchmark.
Okay.
This entire thing around clearing it in first attempt or second attempt or third, fourth, and so on is really a thing of the mind. What
Understood.
we really look for is quality. You may have cleared in your first attempt, but if you're not able to answer one practical question out of the book, then it's of no use. That qualification just stands null. Um, so how I would look at this is take as many attempts as you can, but once you come out as gold. As simple as that, and that should be a standard. But there is no race. There is no competition.
Right. I think, people or the CA might be for seeing this video currently and listening to you here, a one-stop solution, how exactly to, manage themselves from the stress out exactly on how to exactly like give the examinations in a very smooth manner. So as Varun sir said that like learnings don't actually value, but the work ethics matter. So how
Yeah.
exactly you implement the learnings that you gain from the books or all the learnings through about the chartered accountancy? So it's all about the practical learning what you avail.
Yes, it is. At the end of the day, what you learn in the books, what standards you read, it's all going to be how you apply them, right?
Okay.
Be it financial management, be it costing. If I keep a product in front of you and I ask you to take the cost of this product, manufacturing this product, you should not be fumbling out of answers. You should be able to answer something, at least.
Right.
That's how you apply your learning into a practical scenario.
Right.
If I ask you what exactly is derivative, it's there in the books, but then give me a practical example. If you falter at that, then it's of no use of learning that, right?
Right.
That's how you should be learning. You should be consuming stuff from the books.
Okay.
Always be okay. Fine, I read this, but what exactly does it mean? How exactly do I apply this? So that would be my advice to anyone who's watching this.
Okay.
Just read the books.
That's
Try.
really great. Okay. So like being a CA, being a chartered accountant to like some sectors of few companies. So do what exactly, a CA avoids in a particular data to be there? Like, is there any complexity part that a CA avoids that no, yeah, we don't actually want a particular data to be evaluated from, especially this particular sector of an industry. So is there any favorable sector in or an industry that you really, enjoy being a CA to evaluate those accounts, or is it like you are favorable with every particular sector or every particular company to be evaluated?
Well, there's no choice really. I don't think
Okay.
there's no choice, right? You do what you do.
Okay, I think the sad you speaking right now.
You're right in a way. It comes out as really depressing that you don't have a choice when it comes to doing accounts. But
Okay.
if you ask me, if there is a sector that really interests a chartered accountant, is the crypto sector, right? It's a really budding sector, and a lot of it is unknown to the masses. Not many people are aware of what exactly is happening, how it exactly happens, what exactly is a blockchain. So, being a chartered accountant, you're not really close to technology. You're close to technology only in terms of how the UI works, how a few application throws out balances and numbers and data, and then you sit and analyze the variances. That's all a simple CA does.
Right.
Right now, with the reach of technology and the resources available at hand, you have YouTube where your channel is actually growing, and you have LinkedIn, you have online courses, you have Coursera, you have An Academy, and these kind of other branded courses. The knowledge base is really accessible right now. So I would not point out to a particular sector and say that I enjoy working with this sector, I enjoy making accounts for this sector, but I would point out and say that what exactly is interesting that's happening now.
Okay.
My thoughts are always towards cryptocurrency. Not that I'm endorsing investing in cryptocurrency on this. My thoughts are personal, but you should actually know what exactly is happening there.
Right.
So, metaverse and all those fancy words that get thrown out every now and then from every nook and corner. I think at least a chartered accountant should be aware of what exactly is happening.
Okay. So, like according to you, is it a challenge that a chartered accountant is not, chartered accountant is not exactly responsible to know regarding other like upcoming like technology versions, like that you mentioned metaverse, that you mentioned regarding blockchain technology. So is it something like chartered accountant is not exposed to those technologies, or one should exactly like aside from the work or the role or responsibilities that they do have, must also focus on those learnings?
Well, it's I won't say it's unfortunate, but it's a little. I would say we are a little behind on how our courses are developed right now.
Okay.
Um, a chartered accountant by design should not be involved in technical stuff because that's the job of a software engineer. Just bifurcating the two things.
Yeah.
But right now, the closeness of technology and the work that we do is to an extent such that the gap is so reduced in a way that you cannot shift away from the responsibility of knowing what is exactly happening behind the black box.
Right.
You have to know, at least understand, not exactly make the black box, so to say, but to understand what exactly is happening inside it. At least get a larger picture, get a clear visual. The black box should not be that black now.
That's
You should be able to look through it.
that's
And the excuse that you've not been exposed to technology, you don't have resources, that argument right now is getting backdated, as redundant as we move on to the next day.
okay.
Because it's getting easier and easier to understand technology, with resources being made available, with videos being made, books being published, papers being authored. It's really getting very archaic to say that a CA should not or cannot know about technology. Um, they should know about technology. It's high time we start getting involved,
Okay.
because anybody can make a fool out of you if you don't know your stuff, right? It's
I
as simple
think
as that.
that's right. Right, right. Absolutely. Beat any other domain also, like apart from the chartered accountancy, all other domains need that like complexity in mind and that diversity in mind. That I think every person should be aware what exactly is happening about the other box or about a black box kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So like exactly that like I have most of the viewers who are not even currently pursuing a CA or not have been not are basically a chartered accountant
Mhm.
must have heard that a chartered accountant is exposed to an articleship training in his
Correct.
or her life. So
Right.
what exactly what could be the possible explanation in a brief manner regarding your experience after you served your articles?
Uh, you kind of ask a question that brings back memories from 10 years ago. Wow, growing up. So you start off young, basically, right? If we go by that idiom, you are soft clay, and whatever happens in those years, it really shapes you up into what you become in the next 10 or 20 years. So these are formative years for any professional.
Okay.
It's a 3-year long training. In other courses like MBA, you usually have 6 months of internship, maybe three
Yeah.
months, maybe a year maximum. It's only in chartered accountancy that you have,
The
or
whole
maybe,
years.
yeah, you have 3 rigorous years of
Like a
training.
bachelor's degree duration.
Exactly, you're right. You're right. It's like a bachelor's degree, and it comes along with your studies. It's not like you have to complete your training after you give your final papers. Your CA finals are required to be given only after you complete your
The
articleship.
articles. Okay.
So there comes the importance of articleship, right? Studies and practical application go hand in hand. So whoever is watching this, and whoever is thinking of taking a dummy articleship, which is actually not legal, but you can easily succumb into those kind of things. My advice would be, it is for your own benefit that you should be doing an articleship, be it from any firm that you do,
Okay.
because the soft skills that you gain from there are really invaluable. The way you articulate your thoughts, the way you communicate with people, the way you handle situations, be it a small firm of having 2 or 3 individuals working under a chartered accountant, or be it a big four where you have teams rolling up to associate, and then you have managing partners all the way up. Every day you learn new things. 365 into 3, it's more than 1,000 days, right? These 1,000 days are invaluable in your life, and you spend 1/3 or maybe 2/3 of your day um, sifting through books of accounts, analyzing tax laws, regulations, company law. It's the experience is invaluable. I mean, whoever I whoever I talk to, be it on this podcast or anyone outside of this, whenever I talk to them, I just tell that I have a I owe a lot to what happened in those 3 years. Uh, and if I go back, I would not regret going through that articleship, going through that rigorous phase of life, because that really preps you up.
Right.
So
Right. So I think, like articleship in the chartered accountancy and also the internship in the while for the MBA students who currently pursue their who are currently pursuing their summer internship. So I think April and May are the 2 months that an MBA student is supposed to do their summer interns. And
right.
also in the chartered accountancy, it's like 3 whole years, like more than a MBA degree and equivalent to a particular BCom or BCom honors degree. So I think
Right.
that's really huge, and I'm having no clue, right? Right, sitting in this podcast, what exactly a person post completing his or her articleship training would ever feel like. So, like, is that into articleship training is paid or unpaid? If
Uh,
unpaid, I think if unpaid, I think hats off to the patience of chartered accountants.
it's paid, but I would
Okay.
put it in a quotes because you do not get paid a lot. It's
Okay.
internship, right? It's apprenticeship or articleship. You don't get paid a lot. You just get paid enough to get you by. But that's not the point, really.
Yeah.
If I look back in those days, it's really training. As much as you're investing your time, your principal is also investing a lot of his time or her time in training you and making you a better professional at any given day. I mean, I really empathize with whoever is going through this right now, and they have really tough principles to handle. But that's how life is.
Right.
If you get lemons, make lemonade. You don't. And right now, if you get lemons, then you're actually a rich guy.
Okay.
So, so I mean, it all comes down to how you handle, how you handle those 3 years and what exactly
Right.
um, goes on in those 3 years. Your training is all that matters.
I think
And
right.
whoever is in this phase, just keep your focus on, hang in there.
Okay.
It will end, and you will turn out to be a better professional than you were when you started.
Okay. I think that could be the best advice, being a chartered accountant, to the possible chartered accountants or to the other students who might be interested into the finance domains. So now, understanding that having, finance background, one can be a chartered accountant, one can be a chartered secretary, one can be, what could be the other possible finance job roles in, in as per your mind? What could be the possible like job roles or job opportunities that you want to guide to the students who are currently watching this video interested in the finance background to pursue their work experience in?
Well, you have CFA, you have FRM in terms of courses that you can do, in terms of qualifications that you can, gather on your CV. You have CIPM, you have CS, you have cost accountancy. You have a host of different courses, different qualifications that you can pursue. But
Okay.
really, what matters is what your interest is in. If your interest is in stock market, go there. I mean, not much qualification is required to actually enter into a stock market. You can just play with numbers. You can do some trend analysis, and you can be there. If you want to be a research analyst, then I guess CFA is required. You need to have that analytical bent of mind, which we were speaking about in the beginning of the video.
Okay.
So that's there, and you can enroll yourself in a banking job, like I have. It's boring, it's depressing, but it pays, and it pays to be there, and it also is a lot of knowledge is there. You can get to know a lot of things about stuff, about people, about foreign banks. You can go to investment banks and start your career in operations or in controllership.
Okay.
Or you can go for actuaries, wherein you can start your career in insurance. So
Got
there
it.
are many opportunities when it comes to data crunching. And I've also seen my colleagues taking up courses in big data science. You can take those courses up. I mean, that's the call of the day, right? Data scientists get paid a lot right now by companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, who are just collating data and analyzing, crunching data to take out patterns, figure out customer bases, how to address those customers, etc. It's becoming a mad world out there. So anyone who's interested in numbers can take a finance or can take a proto finance roles. So it all depends on what exactly interests you. Just be of a clear mind. Don't go after people who have already chosen a career. But go with the fact that how or why did you choose your career? Why did they choose that career? That should be more important. And chartered accountancy gives you 8 fields that you can specialize in, right? So, yes, if you want to specialize in taxation, you can go there. You can just be a tax lawyer or a tax consultant. You can be a management consultant when it comes to taking cost or analyzing where you can save costs. You can become a management consultant. That's really a narrow definition of management consultant. Obviously, it encompasses a lot of things. You can be a financial analyst if you pursue financial management. So chartered accountancy really reveals a lot of paths in front of you, and you can choose to take whatever interests you, whatever is your favorite subject, and begin from there. So that's one way of looking at it.
I think that that couldn't be possible to give a better explanation to this particular question. So very well, very appreciable, sir. Thank you so much, Varun sir, for getting on board with Grow Junction, understanding the time constraint. You being a chartered accountant, you must need to go back and set to work and solve the accountancy problems for the companies. So understanding that, and also understanding that you being not just a particular podcast interview person, but also a proper counselor to the students who are interested in the finance domain, and also who must be pursuing the chartered accountancy. So very well, very thank you so much. Thank you, sir. And also thank you to the students who are currently watching this video. If they're liking this particular video, just hit on the like button and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. You just get to see so many podcasts related to the finance domains and other set domains too. Thank you so much, sir, for getting on board with us. It was nice. It was a pleasant day to have a conversation with you.
Same here. Thanks so much, Chandan.